In a world obsessed with horsepower figures and lap times, occasionally the true heroes slip through the net. This is a 1998 Esprit GT3, and it's lighter, more raw and more agile than any other Esprit model at the time. And today we're going to find out why this forgotten supercar from Great Britain deserves way more love. The Esprit story starts way back in 1976, penned by legendary designer Giorgetto Giugiaro, a bold, futuristic wedge that became a symbol of British performance through the 70s and 80s. Fast forward to the 90s, Lotus updates the Esprit with smoother lines, new interiors and serious performance boosts. And in 1998 they dropped this, the GT3, a lighter, purer version meant for the real driving enthusiasts. Under the rear deck sits a 2-litre, yes, it's only a 2-litre turbocharged 4-cylinder, the Type 920 engine. It pushes out around 240 horsepower and around 220 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60, just 4.9 seconds. Top speed, around 160 miles an hour, so it's certainly no slouch. That might not sound earth-shattering today, but remember this thing weighs just over 1300 kgs. That's less than a modern hot hatch, and it really feels it as well. Against its rivals back then, this car punched way above its weight. Design-wise, you can definitely still see Giugiaro's amazing origami wedge-shaped design, but it's been slightly softened by Peter Stevens' 90s update. Better aerodynamics, including this massively extended rear duckbill, which I absolutely love, by the way. But it still has the mega twin pop-up headlights, which I absolutely love. Who doesn't love a car with pop-ups? And inside, this thing is a pure 1990s Lotus assault on the senses. Lovely snug seats, basic switchgear, beautiful VDO, extremely basic but very, very clear dials, 5-speed manual transmission, and it's even got a Targa roof which you can remove, so that's very nice. How lovely is that in today's world of screens and just annoying bongs and bings? You get nothing with this car. And even the mechanical feel of releasing the tailgate brings satisfaction. What a thing, hey? Lotus built about 190 GT3s in total. That makes this one of the rarest versions of the Esprit ever, really. But there are quirks. Cooling systems need watching. Interior plastics can get, let's say, interesting over time, although this one is actually holding up very well. So I'll wait with bated breath. Although I did notice, full disclosure, an engine light came on today. But hey, it's a Lotus, these things happen. And being a mid-engine car, you just take this cover off and there it is. The little 4-cylinder charge-cooled turbo. Speaking of the turbo, keeping a good eye on the turbo and not being tempted to whack the boost pressure up is crucial if you want the car to run sweet. This one runs really well, and I was disappointed to see the engine light come on today, but hopefully it'll be a simple fix. And if you're wondering about practicality, I've got good news. It's got a massive rear trunk, and the boot, like on a Lamborghini Countach, extends into the rear wings, although there is a battery under this side. And then over at the front, you do actually get extra storage. The earlier cars had a spare wheel here. I think on the GT3 model, I'm not sure about the S4S and the V8, but on the GT3 model, they carpeted it and abandoned the spare, which means it's actually a very usable car. 2 people could go on a long holiday in this car. Something that I'd absolutely love to do. Not sure the wife would be as up for it, but you never know. Stranger things could happen. Current market values seem to be around 25 to 40,000 pounds, although the market's a little bit weird at the moment. But I think they're a pretty good investment. As cars get more technologically advanced and the push towards EV for daily use continues, I think people are going to have a really, really strong desire for analog basic cars like this. And this really is a basic car. It's got an ECU and a few bits of electronic gadgetry on it, but for a late 90s car, I honestly think, and tell me in the comments if you disagree or you can think of any other examples, I think this has to be one of the most basic cars that you could buy from that era, late 90s. You get the benefit of it essentially being a 70s design, but packaged in a slightly more modern way, but still maintaining that really raw analog driving experience, which I absolutely love. Shall we go for a drive? Getting the Esprit GT3 out on the road. As soon as you get into it, you know it isn't your typical 90s sports car. That's for sure. And apologies if the camera shakes. It's probably a combination of very stiff suspension and my mount not being brilliant for the camera. So the steering at low speeds is heavy. It's assisted, but it's definitely heavy. Got to be careful pulling out of here. You get high-speed Audi drivers around here, so you have to be careful. Oh, he's flashing me out. Wow, thank you. But once you're moving, it sort of lightens up. But you can still feel everything, every little bump, every stone, every little undulation in the tarmac. And that's not a bad thing. That doesn't make the car uncomfortable. It's just got great feel. And I'm on a terrible road now doing 30 miles an hour. So I'm going to find some better roads and you'll join me while I can use it. Use it on a nicer road. Right, this road is a bit nicer. And this hydraulic steering is superb. It's probably about the best you'd get in the late 90s. A lot of 90s GT cars, in my opinion, and I've owned quite a lot of them, they have an over-assisted, numb steering feel where, you know, you could drive the car with one finger if you wanted. This is not like that. This is not like that at all. The feedback that you get is amazing. It's just that right level of firmness once you're doing, you know, speeds above, say, 40 miles an hour. Oh, it's amazing. The steering, bang on. Right, so what do I think about ride quality? Well, despite its supercar looks, this is actually a really comfortable car to travel in, especially on a nice A road or on the motorway. It sits beautifully. I don't want to say it floats along the road because that'd be a lie, but it's very comfortable and sure-footed. It's not skittish at all, which surprises me actually, because I was expecting it to be, you know, difficult to keep in a straight line. The ride comfort's good, and it's not full of squeaks and rattles. I would say, you know, obviously it's not like a Porsche, it's not like a Toyota, or pick another mass-produced car, but you'd be pleasantly surprised. It's better than what you'd expect for a shonky old Lotus that was basically designed in the 70s. I think Lotus tuned the suspension on this to soak up the rougher roads. So if you're brave, it could be a daily driver. What do you reckon? Would you daily drive this? I try and drive it as much as possible. So what do I think about performance? Well, under 3,000 RPM is extremely sluggish, basically. There's not a lot of power at all. But as soon as you get into the turbo spool, and you can really hear it spool, it just launches you. All the way up to about 7,000 RPM. And it absolutely devours these B roads. It's ridiculous. Obviously it's not the fastest car, it's getting on to be 30 years old, but it's so much fun on these sorts of It's that, I know it's a cliche, but it really is that visceral driving experience that you just don't get anymore. Those days are gone. And if you want something that's going to really make you feel like you're actually driving, it's got to have 3 pedals, preferably a mid-engine, rear-wheel drive, old school design. Doesn't matter if it's not a fast car. It's not about going fast. It's about the feel and the driving experience. And this Lotus just absolutely delivers. And it's one of those cars that begs you to thrash it. You can tell that it wants to be driven hard. It likes it. At slow speeds around towns and stuff, it's okay, it's usable, but it's not great. That's not its natural habitat. Its natural habitat, I think, and I bet you it was tested in Norfolk around all those little roads. I think its natural habitat is British B roads. That's what the car's been designed to be enjoyed on. And it's bloody good. It really is. When I eventually pull out of this junction, which might take a while, I'll talk to you about the gearbox. So it's a 5-speed Renault gearbox. I think it originally came in the Renault 25, but it was also used in the Alpine GTA and the Alpine A610. And I think, I could be wrong, somebody will correct me if I'm wrong here, I think it was used in the DeLorean. And it gets a bad rap, and to be honest, you do have to be slow with the shifts. You can't be banging it through the gears. You have to be respectful of the gearbox. But it has got a nice feel, and it's well matched for the power of the engine. Some people, if you read on the Lotus forums, will say that the GT3 has a chocolate gearbox. But this one's pretty strong. You just have to be, I think you just have to be respectful of it, but that is, in my opinion, part of the charm of this overall very old-fashioned driving experience. That it's not just about nostalgia. There's an element of nostalgia for me. I enjoy, I grew up in the 90s. I had one of these on my bedroom wall as a kid. I used to play Lotus Turbo Challenge on the Amiga, and I used to call the Esprit the Esprit. I don't know. No internet back then. I didn't know what it was called, did I? None of my family or anything had one. So to me, it was the Lotus Esprit. So there's an element of nostalgia, but it is a great driver's car. It's a fun car to drive. If you can accept that it is a hand-built car that's based on a 70s design, and you can sort of learn to find comedy in its foibles and quirks, it is a really good driver's car. And it's usable, it's comfortable, seats are really comfortable. This hasn't got the hard shell GT3 seats like some of them had. But yeah, I love it. I love this car. If you're wondering about the brake feel, brakes are good. They don't have loads of assistance. This has the Kelsey Hayes ABS unit, which was a later addition. It's actually much better than the AC Delco mid-90s Esprit ABS systems. People like it a lot more. Brake pedal feels good, but it doesn't bite hard. It's quite progressive brakes. It feels a bit like if you've ever driven an old school Porsche, like a 944, 911, 928. The brake feel of those cars is very similar to this. The more effort that you put in, the better it stops, basically. But on initial impression, if you're used to driving a modern car, they might feel like they're not that confidence inspiring, but that's not the case at all. They're very good brakes. Next topic, steering. The steering is a major attribute. Very, very, very good steering. It's got the anti-Ackerman steering geometry, which was derived for F1, I think, and Colin Chapman decided he wanted it on the Esprit. Works really, really well. Obviously not so good at slow speeds, but it really comes alive on the corners. It's very flat, very confidence inspiring, loads of grip. It's almost like, you know, the power's really well matched. I've never driven a V8 and I'd love to drive one. If you've got one and you want to meet up and swap cars and have a bit of a drive of each other's cars, let us know. But I just feel like the 2-litre engine in the back is just really well matched to the chassis. And it's just, on a B road, it's just so easy to drive fast and hard. You're not going to be breaking speed limits because it's not, you know, modern supercar performance, but it's just a very, very satisfying, very confidence-inspiring drive. And I'm not a good driver really. Driven a lot of cars, but yeah, I can just throw this around to my heart's content in confidence, and you know, it's so predictable. I kind of don't fear back end spinning out or whatever. A little bit noisy, so when you're getting on it, it's delivering quite a lot of noise, rattles, etc. It seems to stiffen up the harder that you drive. But round town it is fairly civil really, it's not too crashy. At cruising speeds it's actually quite a civil car, but as soon as you start pushing it and the noise ramps up, you get the induction sound behind your head, you can hear the turbo spooling and a little burble pops and crackles, natural, non-artificial pops and crackles from the exhaust. It's raw and it's mechanical and it feels very involving. You feel at one with the car. You kind of feel like you can imagine in your head, well me anyway, when I'm changing gear, I can pressing the throttle and brakes, I can imagine the mechanics in my mind, and that kind of adds to the driving experience. But to sum up the driving experience, I guess the GT3 just feels like a real driver's car. It's balanced, light on its feet, it's constantly talking to you through the steering, brakes, even the accelerator, clutch, just talks to you. And everything's where you want it to be. It's ergonomically nice. It's quite a refreshing experience in a world where, you know, even sports cars are getting heavier, more isolated. I think that modern cars, and that I had a Mark V Super, if you look on the channels, videos from a couple of years ago, I used to have I bought a brand new Toyota Supra, and it was ridiculous. It was very fast, you could go anywhere, you could drive it as hard as you liked. But the thing about that Supra is it actually felt like driving a video game to me. I felt like I was in a little bubble and everything was happening around me, and I was numb to what was actually going on the road because it's so well engineered, so well refined. But this car talks to you, you know exactly what it's doing, and it does whatever you want it to do as well. And if you're on the limit of grip, or you're about to find yourself in a sticky situation, it gives you plenty of warning, and it's just such a nice car to drive. And yes, it's a Lotus. Mystery squeaks, random engine lights, slightly iffy build quality here and there. Vauxhall Calibra door handles, in case you were wondering. But, you know, if you didn't have those things, it wouldn't be a Lotus, would it? If you can afford one of these, buy one. They're bloody brilliant. And I reckon you could drive it for as long as you like, as long as you maintain it, keep it well looked after. When you come to sell it, it would be free motoring. They're not going to depreciate anymore, unless there's a huge market correction, which could be, I suppose. But I would say that your money would be safe in one of these, and you'd really enjoy it. Anyway, let's get back to the church car park for my final thoughts. So what are my final thoughts then on this rather interesting old Lotus? Well, quite honestly, I really do believe that it's one of Lotus's most purest designs, especially from that period. I know you had the Elise, but in terms of the Esprit models, it's just pure Colin Chapman, adding lightness, functional, design for driving purity and simplicity, and I just think it delivers that really well. It's such a fun car to use, and actually it's quite practical too, with two, you know, two boots, etc. And in a world where, let's be honest, supercars are quite bloated these days, this little 2-litre wedge really reminds us what real driving feels like. So let us know in the comments, would you take this over something else that was equivalent as a rival in period? Maybe a TVR 911, something like that. And if you enjoyed this little dive into our hidden gem, make sure that you subscribe to the channel for more updates. This is my personal car, and I am going to film some more content on it, but really I just wanted to do a quick video on the GT3, because if you look on YouTube, there's very, very little content on it. There's a lot of Esprit content, but the GT3 specifically, I personally couldn't find any. If you do have any links for any videos that I might find interesting, send those over as well. As always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you around for another video soon.
2-liter turbo, no V8 heat, 4-cylinder.